Good morning. It's not the morning anymore, but normally I do this in the morning. It's the afternoon. So, I'm gonna start with a mantra that sounds like this. Shema Yisrael Asher Eloheinu Yahweh Echad. ואהבת את ענת אלוהיך ובכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ולכתך בדרך ובשכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאוהות על ידך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך. Thank you, Aaron. וחיה כי ויחיה אלוהיך אל הארץ אשר נשבע לאבותיך לאברהם ליצחק וליעקב לתת לך ערים גדולות וטובות אשר לא בנית ובתים מלאים כל טובה אשר לא מילאת וברות הטובים אשר לא עשת כי ערים וזיתים אשר נתת והלכת ושבת. הישמר לך פן תשכח את יהוה אשר תשלחה מארץ מצרים מבית עבדים. And you shall love Yahweh Eloheinu with all your heart, and with all your soul, and with all your might, and take to heart these instructions that I charge to you today. Impress them upon your children, recite them when you stay at home, and when you are away, when you lie down, and when you get up. Bind them as a sign on your hand, and let them serve as a symbol on your forehead. Inscribe them on the doorposts of your house, and on your gates. Baruch atah Yahweh Eloheinu melech haolam shelo ashani isha. I repeat the name of Yahweh Eloheinu, who did not make me a woman. Baruch atah Asherah Anat melecha haolam asher yitzaret ha'adam b'chachama u'vara. Oh, I repeat the name of Asherah Anat. There's Asherah, who made me with many openings and cavities. Gajananam Bhutikanati Sevitam Kapita Jambupalasara Bakshitam Umasutam Sakavinasakarnam Mahamatim Divyam Mayuravahanam Rudasyasinam Sarasainanatam Guham Saranam Saranam Prapadi Yaku Henduti Saraharatvala Yasupravasvarita Yavina Varanda Manditakara Yasvita Padmasana Ya Brahmachuta Sankara Pratrapi Devasata Pujita Samampatu Bhagavati Sagvati Nihesajadyapa Om Namah Shivaya Gurave Sachidananda Murtaye Nisparanchaya Santaya Shishivanandaya Te Namaha Shri Vishnudevanandaya Te Namaha Om Sarva Mangla Manglaye Shive Savarta Sadike Saranye Trayambake Gauri Narayani Namostute Narayani Namostute Om I salute the three-eyed Divine Mother Narayani, who brings auspiciousness and who fulfills all the desires of the devotee. Chayambakam yajamahe sugandhim pushche vardhanam Orva Rukami Bhavandanan Mrityar Mukshiyam Amritatam Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugantim Pushti Vardhanam Orva Rukami Bhavandanan Mrityar Mukshiyam Amritatam Sarvesham Swastir Bhavatu Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina Sarve Santu Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashantu Makashi Dukhabhagbhave Hasatoma Sadgamaya Tamasoma Jyotir Gamaya Mrityar Mamritam Gamaya Om Purnamadam Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate Om Shanti 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 Om Peace Peace, peace. It's not French, Angel. It is Sanskrit. This prayer starts with the word Triambakam, meaning 3 eyes. The translation is, we praise the fragrance that sees with 3 eyes and enhances prosperity. Maybe we liberated from the bondage of death like the watermelon, which separates effortlessly from the vine. Let them not turn us away from immortality. So, JDM asked a question about Israel and Palestine. I'm going to answer it, but I do want to finish this sequence first, and then we can talk all about that. I don't want to pray to my maker. I just wanna be feeling free. Not like who I am, but the pink and golden land and that wide, wild sky over me. Help me to the sun, hey, I'm looking everywhere. See, I'm looking to become not the prayer, but the prayer. And I don't wanna pray, no. I don't wanna pray, no, no, no. I don't wanna pray. We don't want to pray, and it's not much good to talk, better to walk it. Ooh, not much good to take, better to give. We are done, forgiven and forgotten of our sins, and I promise you, my friends, all that dies will live again. So, pardon God and Mom, what I'm saying isn't fair. See, I'm looking to become not the prayer, but the prayer, and I don't want to pray, no. I don't want to pray, no, 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 I don't want to pray, we don't want to pray, I love Allah, Allah made love, and Yahweh, Yahweh made hate, Asher, Asherah made good, and Anat made bad, Eloheinu made love, and Yahweh, Yahweh made hate, I love Allah, God made, but I don't want to pray to my maker. I just want to be feeling free. Not like in a book, or the leaves of trees that shook from a word that means only not a thing. No, no. Pardon, God and Mom, what I'm saying isn't fair. See, I'm looking to become not the prayer, but the prayer. And I don't want to pray, no. I don't want to pray, no, 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 I don't want to pray, we don't want to pray, I love Allah, Allah made love, and Yahweh, Yahweh made hate, Asher, Asherah made good, and Anat made bad, Eloheinu made love, and Yahweh, Yahweh made hate, I love Allah, God made me. Except that's a lie. You all know that, right? None of those gods exist. I made me. I came upon a wedding that old families had contrived, with Bethlehem the bridegroom and Babylon the bride. Oh, great Babylon was trembling, and she stood there naked with me. And Bethlehem inflamed us both like the shy one at some orgy. And when we fell together, all our flesh was like a veil that we had to draw aside to see the serpent eat its tail. Oh, some women wait for Jesus, and some we wait for King. So I'll hang upon my altar, and I'll hoist my axe again, and I'll take the one who finds me back to where it all began, back when Jesus was the honeymoon, and Cain was just a man, and We'll read from pleasant Bibles that are bound in blood and skin, that Ashura is gathering all her children back again. Hi Alex. Hi Taylor. Hi Angela. I'm so happy you're all here. Hey Miguela. I am pretty grateful for my life and existence. I do appreciate it very much. So what we're doing right now, what we're about to do is called Arati. Arati. Here are the words. Arati. Comes from the Shivananda yoga tradition that I have learned some of the liturgy for. Arati means flame. There's a little flame here. So this is a thanks song about flame, where many names of God are repeated. And then I'll tell you a little bit about Israel and Palestine. To get back to that original question, I can also tell you about my hormones, but later. It's not appropriate for right now, you know? Jaya Jaya Vati Vina Vinayaka Vina Vinayaka Shri Ganesha Jaya Jaya Vati Subramanya Subramanya Kartikeya Jaya Jaya Vati Venugopala Venugopala Venuola Papa Vidura Navanita Chora Jaya Jaya Rati Venkanta Ramana Venkanta Ramana Sankata Harana Sita Rama Radhe Shama Jaya Jaya Rati Gauri Manohara Gauri Manohara Bhavani Sankara Sambasada Shiva Uma Maheshwara Jaya Jaya Rati Raja Rajeshwari Raja Rajeshwari Tripura Sundari Mahalakshmi Mahasaraswati Mahakali Mahashakti Jaya Jaya Rati Anjaneya Anjaneya Hanumanta Jaya Jaya Rati Dattatreya Dattatreya Trimurti Avatara Jaya Jaya Rati Adityaya Adityaya Bhaskaraya Jaya Jaya Rati Sankarachaya Sankarachaya Advaita Gurari Jaya Jaya Rati Sadgurunata Sadgurunata Shivananda Jaya Jaya Rati Vishnu Devananda Vishnu Devananda Vishnu Devananda Jaya Jaya Rati Agastya Munaye Agastya Munaye Shri Rama Priyaye Jaya Jaya Rati Ayappa Swamine Ayappa Swamine Dharma Shastave Jaya Jaya Rati Jesus Gurave Moses Gurave Buddha Gurave Jaya Jaya Rati Muhammad Gurave Guru Nanak Gurave Samastya Gurubho Namaha Jaya Jaya Rati Venugopala Natatra Suyopati Natandra Karatam Nema Vidyopati Kutoya Magni Twameva Bantam Bandi Sarvam Tasya Basya Samitam Vivanti Om Yange Kayamane Kaiva Govari Saraswati Narmade Siddhi Kaveri Hiya Namastitam Namo Namaha Twameva Mata Chapita Twameva Twameva Bandhashasaka Twameva Twameva Vidya Javinam Twameva Twameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva Kayena Vacha Manasendriyarva Budyat Manava Prakrite Sabhavad Karomi Adyad Mangalam Parasmahi Narayana Iti Sarmar Payami Sarvadharmam Pravichaya Mamikam Savranam Vrija Aham Sva Sarvapapayo Mokshaya Mima Sucha. Whatever actions I perform with my body, speech, mind, senses, my nature, my intellect, or my emotions, all these, I dedicate to you. So that mantra was called Arati, It's from the Shivananda yoga tradition. I learned this in the mountains of the Catskills. And Arati is Sanskrit, so we're talking South India, the Indian subcontinent. Arati is Sanskrit for flame, which is why we have this little flame right here. And the refrain, Jaya Jayarati, is we wave the light of victory. And then the different words that come after that, we wave the light of victory of Gauri. Gauri is a mother goddess. So is Lakshmi, so is Kali. Mahalakshmi, Mahasaraswati, Mahakali, Mahashakti. These are all the names of goddesses. So we repeat all of their names. And at the end, we repeat the Levantine gods, right? In the land of Israel and Palestine, the notion of God is different than in India. But there's some overlap when we say Jaya Jaya Arti, Jesus Gurave, Moses Gurave, Buddha Gurave, right? These were people, these were men. But they are also in a way gods. They're just as real. They're just as imaginary. And so we can repeat the name of all of these characters from our history, from our collective imagination, right? From our understanding of who we are as humanity. And we can repeat them. And maybe if we think about all of these different names and all of their variety, maybe we'll understand what they all have in common, right? The self is the thing that stays the same when all else changes, right? That's this symbol. God is the same way, right? This is a meditation on God. Like, what is God? God is these names, and each of them doesn't really mean anything. Right? They're just empty syllables with stories attached to them, and the stories might be real, they might be false. Like, it's a set of ideas, a set of human experiences that we've all had, and you can compare each of these different names, and yeah. So this god here, this is Lakshmi, I believe. I don't actually know. I'm not the most. God, someone's going to tell me I'm wrong. I'm fairly certain that this is Lakshmi. But there are so many that I can't keep track of them all. And that's okay. But she's a character, right? She plays music. And she's a goddess. There's many gods and goddesses that we can repeat the names of. And earlier on, I was repeating the names of some Levantine gods, right? Ashura. I showed you this figure. Ashura is this goddess that was around before Moses or Jesus or Buddha. She's much older than that. So I'll tell you a little bit more about her in a bit, but I do want to conclude the prayer portion of this stream with a Kaddish. So the Mourner's Kaddish is a prayer of death that has been said by people in the land of Israel for at least 2,500 years. This lady here, she's older than that. She was worshipped in Israel approximately 5,000 to 3,000 years ago. 3,500 years ago, 2,500 years ago. It's difficult to say when her cult ended. She's a mother, and she is responsible for the sources of life. She was married to Yahweh. Yahweh is who this prayer is about, the prayer that I'm going to say next. Kaddish. The word Kaddish means holy. And that prayer goes, Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei Rabbah, v'yalmad divrach yirteh v'yamlich malchuteh, v'chayachon v'yamechon v'chayed kol b'Yisrael, Hagala, oh gosh, Hagala u'bisman karif yimru, Ami. Yehi Shemei Rabam Archli Alam Meo Maya Yitbrach Vishtabach Vipar Viturman Vitnase Vitadar Vitale Vitala Shemei de Kudisha Brichu Leela Min Kolbir Hatavishirta Tushbechata Venechemata Diamiran Bioma Vimru Amin Yehi Shemei Rabam Archli Alam Meo Maya Yitbrach Vishtabach Vipar Viturman Vitnase Vitadar Vitale Vitala Shemei de Kudisha Brichu Leela Min Kolbir Hatavishirta Tushbechata Venechemata Diamiran Bioma Vimru Amin Yehi Shalom Arabamin Shemaya V'chaim Aleinu V'chol Yisrael Vimru Amin Osei Shalom Vimramav Huya Asei Shalom Aleinu V'chol Yisrael Vimru Amin Osei Shalom Vimramav Huya Asei Shalom Aleinu V'chol Yisrael Vimru Vimru Amin. Thank you so much, Mernat. It was really nice to see you. Thank you all for joining me today. That prayer is in Hebrew, or Aramaic. It's called the Mourner's Kaddish. So, at the very top of the stream, I was asked a question. Thank you, even if it hurts. I appreciate that. At the very top of the stream, I was asked a question by someone who I'm sure is no longer here about Israel and Palestine. And it's a question that I've wanted to answer for a long time, even if it was asked in a trollish way. Am I Irish? No, Angel, I'm Jewish. I'm Jewish. My ancestors came from the land of Israel, perhaps 2,000 years ago. It's difficult to say. That might be a false story. It might be a myth. Maybe my ancestors came from the land of Egypt, or from the land of Canaan, or from Eastern Europe. My mother was born in Hungary. She came to the United States in 1956 during the Hungarian Revolution as a refugee. And my grandmother before her was also a refugee. She was in the Holocaust. Lost her entire family. And, that's about as much as I know about my immediate lineage. I know that my family before that lived in Eastern Europe for a while, probably for as long as there were Jews in Eastern Europe. And how did the Jews get to Eastern Europe? Well, they left Israel, maybe, or they left Iraq, or who knows exactly. Who knows exactly how they got to Eastern Europe 2,000 years ago, or 1,000 years ago. I don't even know when they got to Eastern Europe. But before they got to Eastern Europe, they were in Israel, the story goes, because the Romans destroyed the temple, and there was a diaspora, right? And all the Jews left. And before that, 400, 500, 600 years before that second diaspora, there was a first diaspora, right? When the Empire of Babylon came and destroyed the city of Jerusalem the first time, and sent all of the wealthy elites into exile in Babylon. Right? So this is some of the history of that region. And when you ask about the modern history of Israel and Palestine, it's good to know the ancient history too, because they inform one another in very important ways. And that is not to say that I believe that the Jews are entitled to the state of Israel, because 2,500 years ago the Babylonians destroyed their city. But I think the fact that 2,500 years ago the Babylonians did destroy their city bears to light on what is happening in Gaza now. There has always been an occupier in that region, and there has always been an occupied. And the identity of that space is in many ways defined by thousands of years of continuous occupation. So, do I support Israel or do I support Palestine? Hello, Eli. Eli Suli? Not sure how I should say your name, but hello. Yeah. That's what I have to say about Israel and Palestine, I suppose. When I got asked the question, it seems like a silly question. Like, there are people rent in half by trauma. Which side do I support? I support the healing of trauma. You know? I support not perpetuating trauma. Yeah. Ellis. Ellis, where are you from? What part of the world are you in? Alright, let me end this stream. I'll stay